evening. Welcome to News live on the SLBC television. I'm Salma Taba. Coming up in tonight's edition of News, presidential and vice presidential candidates of the SLPP continue their campaign in the south, east and northern regions. A two-day sub-regional workshop on cross-border trade and gender issues starts at the Mano River Union Secretariat, and Turkish Airlines begins operations in Sierra Leone. All the stories and more, including business and sports news, are lined up tonight. The presidential and the vice presidential candidates of the main opposition, Sierra Leone People's Party, have continued their campaign to the south, east and northern regions of the country. During their campaigns, members of the SLPP in Banff, Kailaun, Pujion and Tonkole district were in jubilant mood to see their leaders and listen to their messages. Our own Hawa Mosiri is with the campaign trail of the
Vice presidential candidate Dr. Mohamed Jude Jallow was given a warm welcome as he addressed hundreds of supporters, calling on them to focus on the electioneering process and make sure they vote for the SLPP. Dr. Jallow stated that the party recently launched its manifesto, which is the new direction, wherein education, health and agriculture are the main issues highlighted.
Thank you for this massive mobilization. Even though we can let the place dark, people do not come on massively. The way we will not mobilize massively for SLPP, SLPP will mobilize for one town, one country. Today, majority of them picking and they even punish for go school. Today, young boys and young girls, even if they don't finish school, then they punish for their jobs. One country. Today, even thing for it that this country under APC, it don't become problem for people there. One country. Because of the suffering, because of how the non-point school business, because of how people in the punish in this country, APC must go. You don't see the job. Now make it come back and say, Pauper! Pauper! Pauper!
The Southern Region Chairman of the Sierra Leone People's Party, Honorable Edward Amin Suluku, noted that the Southern Region is the stronghold of the SLPP, as supporters must do their best to cast their votes overwhelmingly. In Samalin Pujon District, the presidential candidate of the Sierra Leone People's Party, retired Brigadier Julius Madabi, appealed to members of the party to forget about issues relating the awarding of symbols and work in close collaboration for the party to win the elections. Madabi called on his supporters to monitor the elections well for the party to win the March 7 elections. In Kailaun, the national campaign chairman of the Sierra Leone People's Party, Dr. Ali Kaba, appealed to supporters to take care of their voter ID cards and vote wisely for retired Brigadier Julius Madabi and others.
The day when SLPP come in, we work hard for the country. By the time they come in, APC they come in, we will get over 520 billion leos in reserve. Money will just be laid on a corner no more. Within 3 months, when APC come in, then damage all the 525 billion. And not only that, from the town and on there to now, just for telling us say they don't get no reason for Hamburg with people that have to vote for them. They don't raise beyond national debt. Imagine them can't meet reserve over 500 billion. Now, let's tell you this. Over $1.6 billion in foreign debt. Over 16 trillion leos. I don't know how they write trillion, but I'm going to 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Now the debt, all we get right now. Now the future generation, therefore pay for the mismanagement of the economy under APC. APC don't get no reason for can't talk to people and for vote for them. They don't get 10 years, then pay Now, failing record and get 0% because they never manage what you mean. So this campaign is very easy. Now, about the record. You see what you make them confused with? They're not allowed to talk about the record. The record is bad. You two man don't get work. Come around in the world in middle net. We have to feed the family there. I'll tell you, the school business all don't broke down. All to your prayer. Yes, all to your prayer in this country now. So I give now I get for give the best reason what you make me as a national campaign chairman confidence the sharp 12 would defeat APC once and for all and then we'll take over State House. But the first thing is this: we get the best presidential candidate on the ballot, the one and only, the political pathfinder, the political bulldozer, the political caterpillar, the political catalyst, the political deputy, the political surgeon, the man himself, the retired, the brigadier, the Julius, the lawyer,
Members in the Samaya Bendugu Tonkolili district pledged their continuous support for the Sierra Leone People's Party. SABC TV News Eye in Freetown, Hawa Moswe reporting.
Five presidential candidates have vowed to rewrite a new chapter of the country's political history. Representatives of the National Progressive Democrats, National Democratic Alliance, United National People's Progressive Party, National Unity and Reconciliation Party, and Unity Party were assertive at a signing of a framework for electoral cooperation. Princess Gibson reports.
Politicians have emerged as a new generation to correct what they described as 56 years of slow progress of nationhood. They have entered into cooperation to share a platform on issues of common interest, support each other in campaigns, develop joint strategy and action plan, and coalesce among candidates. NDA's Mohamed Ba described the move as a step to change the political trend of the country in the interest of Sierra Leoneans. NPD's Patrick Odwaya said he will turn around the present economic situation through royalties from minerals.
Revenue collection. We will increase the royalties on the extractive industry. We will reduce the GST tax from 15% to 8% and expand the base of that tax by putting technologies in place for vendors to be accountable to the state and collecting the taxes for the state. We will ensure ownership in new concession by the government of Sierra Leone.
UNPP's Dr. Henry Kabuta said he has given up Europe for Sierra Leone as there are a lot of issues at stake.
We are coming back to save our country, and UNPP is poised. It's very good. It's ready to give this country back to its people. There is no shortage of anything in the world, not money, not talent. We have it all. We can get it from everywhere. I know if we need the latest modern technology for skyrocketing, I can go to the United States and bring experts. I have a huge network of experts.
NURP's Dr. Jonathan Sandi said his party manifesto is anchored on 4 public priorities of good governance and economic reforms.
It is about strengthening the rule of law, the national constitution, and national security. We believe what the third pillar we have to follow, our constitution is going to fight. We have seen exactly people from the constitution. We have seen voting rights for diaspora is not in our constitution. We have seen the de-amalgamation, what we call de-amalgamation, for shape this country from 1450 to 1650, where we don't vote, we don't do any referendum. Whether they are president or president, we will make sure that we give you a new Sierra Leone.
Unity Party's running mate Mohamed Tarawali said his party is determined to rebuild the country.
Smaller political parties, new political parties. But what ideas have the older political parties delivered for this country, for the betterment of this land, for the prosperity of our people? What? What? Nothing. Here we have the ideas to move further forward this morning. And it is not the age of the political party that matters. It is what you are able to do for your land, for your people, to move your people forward into prosperity.
Questions and answers from the audience formed part of the signing of cooperation framework by the 5 political parties. Princess Gibson, SLBC News.
President Ernest Bai Koroma has concluded his thank you tour visits to Kamakwe Selalimba Chiefdom in the Karina district, which happens to be the last district in the thank you tour calendar. The president during his visit expressed appreciation to the people for the opportunity and support given to him to serve the country for the last 10 years. There's Abashima sent us this report.
Addressing a huge crowd, President Koroma said their fathers, grandfathers and great-grandfathers were longing for the de-amalgamation of the districts, and it therefore feels fulfilled as a son of the soil to have succeeded in carrying out the process. The president said the socio-economic needs of Karina district will be addressed in the nearest future, especially when Dr. Samura Kamara would have become the president of Sierra Leone. He expressed gratitude to the people of Selalimba Chiefdom for the opportunity given to him to serve Sierra Leone and their support to his administration. He pointed out that the construction of the roads in the district and the chiefdom is ongoing. President Koroma made it clear that as a government and party, they have a responsibility to transform the country, which they take very seriously, thus the introduction of the free health care, although they had some challenges in the process. The president said to improve on the lives of Sierra Leoneans, governments implemented a lot of projects in the major sectors of governance, including health, water, education, agriculture and infrastructure. He urged all members and supporters to be cautious of promises and stories told by other politicians to avoid being misled, as most are not sincere. President Koroma noted with satisfaction that they in the All People's Congress Party is very proud of their record and have worked harder than any other party in the country to achieve the status the country now has. The president went on that the way they have performed as a government and party is remarkable in ensuring that development is visible in the country. President Koroma said people only want to blackmail the military, as they were just being appreciative for the efforts and recognition of their Grand Commander and his government have done and brought to their institution on Armed Forces Day. The president added that it does not see any need for anyone to make any issue out of the event. He noted with pride that as a government, they have gone a long way in developing Sierra Leone, despite the challenges of the Ebola outbreak, the mudslide and floods that affected the country greatly. He informed that for the great work to be continued, the APC party has chosen Dr. Samura Kamara, who has vast experience and credibility, to be the party's presidential candidate, and Honorable Chernoba, who also has gained so much experience, to be his running mate. The president presented the team of aspirants for positions of Member of Parliament, councillors, and district council chairman to the paramount chiefs and people of Selalimba Chiefdom.
Nowhere. When we come and make a promise, we don't find a basis for make that promise to be fulfilled and for make that promise to be sustainable. The same thing at the education, the same thing at the energy, the same thing at agriculture. We want to make this country continue for progress, like how we don't make it a progress. So other people then will come now today and they talk and talk and talk. You know,
for talk na the cheapest thing for do. And for talk without get intention for implement the talk, that one is only free. So that is why we have to be very careful. When people they come, some they come, they say that they give una free education. Then come, they give una free health. Then come, then go provide job for 100,000 young men. Then come and say, and go down poor at this country. You see, it's easy for making that statement here. But look at the man where they make the statement. And look at who side come up from. They don't get an experience for create jobs where sustainable. On here, not a project where go implement. For implement project, now UN for implement projects now other sign a simple thing. Not you get for graduate. They write the project. Not they provide the funds for the project. Not you get for implement them.
President Nkrumah said as he has handed them over their children to them so that after the elections of March 7th, 2018, they will all be elected into offices. Earlier, Paramount Chief Kande Luseni lauded President for the de-amalgamation of Karine districts, which has brought recognition to the chiefdom and realization of the long-awaited dream. He also expressed profound gratitude to President Nkrumah for the launching of the National Ambulance Emergency Service that has secured an ambulance for every chiefdom in the country. Paramount Chief Kande Luseni informed the President that government needs to enhance the level of development in Karine districts, including medical, water, energy, roads to mention but a few. APC National Secretary General Alhaji Usman Fodeyan Sane said the President visited Kamakwe to thank the people of Selalimba Chiefdom for the opportunity they have given him to serve Sierra Leone and for the support to his administration in implementing policies, maintaining the peace and bringing development to Sierra Leone after a period of war, on carrying governance and military rule. APC District Chairman Alhaji Wura Jallo told the President Nkrumah that the great turnout of party members and supporters is a manifestation of the appreciation and love the people of Karine district have for him. He said that the party executive has worked very hard in the coming trail to come thus far and that the people are also supportive of the party because of the development that have taken place in the country through the leadership of President Nkrumah. The APC district chairman assured the president that they will surely demonstrate how much they appreciate the president and their gratitude to him through the ballot box come March 7, 2018.
We don't meet. We don't swear. We say if the SLPP can say for SLPP, NGC, CFC.
Presenting members that have defected from the National Grand Coalition Party, the APC Northwest Chairman, Honorable Alhaji Buya Kamara, said it came as a result of their efforts, making people see and understand the realities on the ground from one village to another. He said that most of the people in the villages are being brainwashed, so as a party, they need to continue to be more vigilant and steadfast. The APC Northwest Chairman cautioned all members and supporters not to allow themselves to be provoked into anger or any form of violence, as there are people that are bent on creating chaos before, during and after the elections. Honorable Buya Kamara informed the president that the chiefs have assured them of their support in ensuring the party wins all the seats in the chiefdom in the forthcoming elections. He expressed profound gratitude to President Nkrumah and the party for choosing an indigene of Karine district to be the presidential candidate of the party. En route to Kamakwe, President Ernest Bai Koroma also expressed its profound gratitude and appreciation to the people of Kamalo, Sandaloko Chiefdom, for the opportunity they gave him to serve them as President of the Republic of Sierra Leone and for supporting his administration as the town barrier.
That was thank you told by President Koroma in Kamakwe in the Selalimba Chiefdom Karina district. The presidential candidate of the National Grand Coalition has continued his committee campaign in the northern southern regions with his vision Sierra Leone first and Sierra Leone people first. Alhaji Dr. Kande Yumkela said their party will create employment for the people in the regions and pledged that their party is for the common man and they are ready to work for the nation. Aruna Patrick Ama is part of the campaign trail.
The community-to-community campaign in the northern region in Koinadugu and Falaba district, Kamalo, Kamakwe and Tambaka chiefdoms in the Karinet district, and in Kabasa, Kamasasa and Kukuna in the Kambia district, Zimi Jendema, Potoru, Funta village, Samale and Pujang town in the Pujang district was peaceful and well attended by the people chanting, "We want change." According to the people, they are ready for a new party to take the highest seats in the country, rather than the two traditional parties, APC and SLPP, running the affairs of the country for the past 26 years. People from the two different regions pledged their commitments for change in the March 7th election. The campaign visit to the region started in Koinadugu and Falaba district, where supporters of the NGC received the presidential candidate with the message of change, hope, opportunity and transformation. According to the NGC presidential candidate, Alhaji Dr. Kande Yumkela, he is impressed with the large turnout of people chanting, "We want change," which shows that they are tired with the suffering in the country and they are ready for change, an opportunity which they were waiting for so long. In Karinet district, the people said they are ready for change and that's why they come out in numbers to welcome their next president, who they believe will change their condition of living in the country after electing him as president. The people in Tambaka said past governments have abandoned them for so long, as if they are not Sierra Leoneans and no development has been taken to them ever since. They call on Dr. Kande Yumkela to seek their interest when elected as president. They assured the campaign team of the National Grand Coalition that they will ensure the NGC secure the highest percentage of voting in all the districts. Addressing the people in Koinadugu, Falaba, Karine, Kambia, Pujam districts, the presidential candidates of the National Grand Coalition, Alhaji Dr. Kande Yumkela, assured the people that if elected as president, he will not disappoint them. Dr. Kande Yumkela assured the people that their party will create a conducive atmosphere for every Sierra Leonean to gain employment. Dr. Yumkela said if elected, his government will improve education, provide good health facilities, sustainable energy, and strengthen the economy. He called on the people in the regions to vote wisely during polling day as they determine their future for the next 5 years.
35 years, 40 years, they don't forget about it. They send two parties. Now know that. Yes. Look on a tongue. They know the power 56 years. On a life no change. Job no day. Town room no day. Pass down. All the town hall, everything don't broke down. Not only for tell Una self don't see not so. 35 years, 50 years, 56 years. But if better no, they not go change now.
If you want to let your life change, if you want to let your life change, Una look for sober people there. Una sober people. Una ask we all what you don't do for yourself. What you don't do for yourself. Then we know say you were able to do for we. What you don't do for we school there, we hospital, we mosque, we church. If people not do nothing for Una, now say because now they may not 56 years,
56 years they left for a sofa. Hey, the family. Now we a new change. Yes. Yesterday, His Excellency the President, he go eat lunch in my village. He go to my village inside and born me. He said that day they say final thank you. He go there. He tell the people they say, Kanda na mi padi, but not the left power here. Now say Eba, na gold degi, tutti mulka mantasha.
In Peja Chiefdom in the Pujan district, Dr. Yomkela awarded scholarship to 162 pupils of both junior and secondary schools as their parents do not able to pay their fees for further their education. According to the chairman, Community Teacher Association Sulaiman Kuruma, there is a lot of dropout of pupils in that part of the country because their parents could not able to pay their fees.
I'm really very happy for this gesture with Dr. Kanda Yomkela done for coming today. In the history of Wusku will open Wusku, the community school, since 2009. This is the first time we don't get somebody, a politician, we don't can pay a tuition for the whole year for people up to 162. So we'll comment that well. We'll pitch this to we wife then, we begin then, and we're happy when Honorable Soil Doc said this money they not give with beginning for vote for them, they give beginning for them to educate. Well done, go.
In both districts, Dr. Yomkela visited people living along the riverine areas to know their challenges, which according to him will guide him to know their needs that will help them transform. In both islands, the people received Dr. Yomkela and team with jubilation, chanting Salon first and Salon people first. They said they are ready to vote for development and not by tribal or regional basis. They said they believe in the vision of KKY. That is why they are offering their support to the NGC to bring change in the country. Addressing the people of both islands, Yajo and Matru Jong, Alhaji Dr. Kanda Yomkela assured the people of a better living condition if elected as president. He assured them of providing employment opportunity for them and also develop their districts with their natural resources, which is the sea and the rivers, that will generate income through touristic development and transform the districts to a tourist site. He promises them electricity and good roads when takeover in governance come March 7.
A 2-day sub-regional workshop on cross-border trade and gender issues is underway at the Mano River Union Secretariat Swallow. The workshop is to promote and implement gender empowerment and cross-border trade for each member country. Participants were drawn from the Mano River Union country. Anne-Marie Jalo reports.
The world is seen to be on a new trend calling for the empowerment of women at all levels in order for them to be productive and self-reliant in their various fields. The Mano River Union is no exception to this new trend. According to reports, women constitute more than 50% of the population of the Mano River Union member states, and they contribute significantly to the economies of member states and their households, but yet still face challenges that impedes on their productivity and profitability in their businesses. Secretary General of the MRE Secretariat, Ambassador Medina Wese, said this workshop is coming as a result of a study that was conducted on women's economic activity in border communities of the sub-region. Challenges such as harassment of all forms, deplorable living condition, and lack of medical facilities at border posts, poor road network, lack of credit facilities with banks and other financial institutions, level of education and training, and discriminatory laws that exclude women from owning land are captured by the study. These challenges, she added, are undoubtedly serious obstacles to the success of cross-border trade. Ambassador Medina Wese said these challenges are what give rise to the project Support to Women Cross-Border Trades in the Mano River Union, with support from the African Fund for Trade through the African Development Bank. The overall objective is to facilitate trade between MRE with special focus on women across the borders to improve their performance and their trade competitiveness. To achieve these goals, special emphasis must be placed on the following: capacity building, creation of information desks at border posts, and eliminate bottlenecks at all levels that serves as deterrents to economic empowerment of women, among others. Country manager informed that the current project costs over $456,000, which is geared towards contributing to the growth of intra-regional trade and empower women cross-border traders in the MRE sub-region with a view of enhancing their income-earning capacity. The vision of the African Development Bank is for a stable, integrated and prospering continent of competitive, diversified and sustainable growing economies, with a strategy of supporting regional infrastructure development and enhancing industrialization and trade. Despite all these efforts to facilitate trade on national and regional fronts, there are still fragmented areas.
Africa continues to lag behind and is by far the region where exporting is the most onerous and affected by time delays. Burdensome customs procedures constitute one of the biggest constraints weighing on African business international competitiveness, and the Mano River Union is no exception. I expect that participants will make efforts in unbundling the challenges to cross-border trade and propose concrete steps and activities that will be implemented to promote gender empowerment and cross-border trade facilitation for each member country.
She added that for Africa and the MRE region to achieve the goal of boosting trade within and beyond their borders, it must make a leap from the current inefficient trade logistics. Charles Vande is the Director of Gender Affairs in the Ministry of Social Welfare, Gender and Children's Affairs. He explained the strides made by the government so far to ensure that women's empowerment is achieved at all levels.
So what we have done over time is to ensure that the policies and the laws that are put in place will support the empowerment of women themselves. So in 2000, the government of Sierra Leone actually developed the national policy for the advancement of women, and that advancement of women is actually looking at various sectorial aspects, ranging from agriculture, education, health, peace, conflict management, and several others. We also did the national policy on gender mainstreaming to ensure that whatever sectorial issues we are handling, gender is mainstreamed into all of those components.
He added that for the economy to thrive, women must have control over productive resources. It is against this backdrop that the Lands Ministry has developed a land policy that gives women the right to own and control land, but there are few clauses in the 1991 Constitution that needs to be expunged. As part of their commitment in ensuring the economic empowerment of women, a project called Business Incubator for African Women Entrepreneurs, funded by Spanish NEPAD, is currently being implemented in Kwendu in the Kailahun district. It also seeks to ensure that the economic cohesion of the MRE states is fostered. He pledged that government will stay committed in ensuring that the women of Sierra Leone are fully capacitated in all aspects. Delivering his keynote address on behalf of the Minister of Finance, Development Officer Mori Momo said it is clear that the issue of cross-border trade is faced with increasing challenges, and women are mostly the ones that suffer the brunt of it. MRE countries have gone through conflict and instability, which has had adverse effects on the economies of member states, but with support from development partners, they have been able to kickstart their economies.
One of the world's premier airlines with over 50 destinations in Africa Turkish Airlines has started operations in the country. Turkish Airlines expects to fly from Freetown to Istanbul to Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. The Turkish delegation led by the Turkish Airlines president was received by the Minister of Transport, Leonard Balogun, at the Freetown International Airport. Our own Abraham Suma reports.
It's just a week ago when the Nigerian Air Peace Airlines had commenced operations in Sierra Leone. Over the weekend, Turkish Airlines, one of the world's premier flights, made maiden to Freetown, making it the 12th airlines now operating in the country. The airlines arrived with one of its biggest flights, 373, with over 30-man delegation led by the president of Turkish Airlines, Bilal Eksi, to grace the start of operations in Freetown to Istanbul route via Ouagadougou. The flights will be flying twice a week, especially on Tuesdays and Saturdays, with capacity of close to 500. According to the general manager of the Sierra Leone Airports Authority, Idris Nabi Fofana, the commencement of Turkish Airlines has added value in their efforts to attract more flights operating in the country. He assured the management of Turkish Airlines that they will continue to work assiduously to meet international standards and safety. Mr. Fofana spoke of a number of reforms the board and management have made at the airport with robust security. The chairman board of directors Sierra Leone Airport Authority, lawyer Elvis Kagbo, assured Turkish Airlines of a swift and robust security at all times. He said as a board, they have given a facelift and with the installation of modern equipment including screening machines and with closed-circuit camera television facility at the airport. He encouraged them to adhere to the policies and regulations of the airport and expressed the hope that Turkish Airlines comes to stay. Turkish ambassador to Sierra Leone, Diha Eksi, said establishing direct flights from Freetown to Istanbul is a milestone for the two countries. He said Turkey has opened an embassy in the country, saying that it will further cement the relationship between the two countries. In the field of economic support, he said Turkish bilateral trade volume with Africa has increased to $17 billion. President of Turkish Airlines Bilal Eksi said they are pleased to commence operations in Freetown, saying that Turkish Airlines flies in most countries than any other airlines around the world. He said Sierra Leone has been connected to the over 100 countries they operate with over 50 destinations in Africa. He said Turkish Airlines came to the country to also help to contribute to the growth of the country's economy.
I would like to share my belief that the ties between two countries will be strengthened and improved with each passing day. Although our Freetown scheduled flights are big, as is now, our aircraft landed in this beautiful city for the first time last year. In the previous Hajj season, we carried out 100 prospective pilgrims from Freetown to Saudi Arabia with non-stop.
The aviation minister, Leonard Balogun said the commencement of Turkish Airlines in the country is a demonstration of government commitment in addressing the problem of air transportation for the people of this country.
During the height of the Ebola in 2014, we had only 2 airlines flying to Sierra Leone, Brussels Airlines and Royal Air Maroc. Under my administration, we now have 11, and Turkish Airlines today brings us to 12 as follows: Brussels Airlines, Air France, KLM, Royal Air Maroc, Kenya Airways, Air Cote d'Ivoire, Air Mauritania, Medview, Fly Mid Africa, Sky, Air Peace.
Mr. Balogun said the highest number of airlines the country has ever had in the country, saying that more flights are on the pipeline, stressing the need for quality customer service, employment of Sierra Leoneans in line with the local content policy and competitive fares. The aviation minister told the audience that government will be constructing a new airport at Mamama and will be built by the Chinese railway company, and made it clear that they have no plans to remove Lunge Airport. Board chairman from National Commission for Privatization and the Sierra Leone Civil Aviation Authority said the move by Turkish Airlines to commence operations in the country will promote and increase opportunities in the aviation sector and strengthen the relationship of the two countries.
Deputy Minister of Health and Sanitation, Madina Rahman, has said that the introduction of the inactivated polio vaccine is to protect children against polio. She made a statement during the launching of the inactivated polio vaccine campaign. Joseph Stanley reports.
The introduction of the inactivated polio vaccine is to ensure that children are better protected from all polio diseases, among others. The Deputy Minister described the introduction of the inactivated polio vaccine into the routine immunization program as a major step in the EPI program, as it will contribute greatly to the reduction of preventable diseases. The Deputy Minister described the introduction of the inactivated polio vaccines into the routine immunization program as a major step in the EPI program, as it will contribute greatly to reduce preventable child diseases. She added that immunization creates high impact as it is cost-effective intervention in protecting and saving the lives of children. Madam Madina Rahman said over the past years the government and partners such as Gavi, WHO and UNICEF have introduced several life-saving vaccines, and currently there are 8 vaccines targeting 12 childhood diseases. She said the inactivated polio vaccine will be a boost to the routine immunization program, noting that there has been a drastic decline on polio cases in the country. The Deputy Minister said considerable progress has been made to eradicate polio through several interventions, but much still needs to be done to reach the final stage. She encouraged parents and caregivers to make good use of the opportunity by ensuring that their children are vaccinated.
We come here today. We are all we come here today. We are all ambassador. We are all for go out. Try for me to neighbor them. Other command them. We know they can get them picking from my plate. Try for convince them. Say una care una picking from my plate. This is go save them. We are all here. We are responsible because I will consider you self for being trying. If you not tell me compensate, before carrying picking go for my clothes. And then picking them. Una self, una they ask una parents them. Mama, papa, they not take on me my clothes them because I know I work upside down. I don't want to get work bend. Una ask una parents them, yeah?
The Gavi Regional Head of Africa, Manjes Dugas, said that disability by the polio virus has reduced drastically and commended the Health Ministry for the laudable achievement. She said despite the introduction of the vaccine should have been done years back, but yet still it is relevant as the country is on the verge of eradicating polio. A representative of WHO, Alex Chimbau, pledged the UN family continued support and encouraged parents and caregivers to take advantage of the vaccine and ensure that their children take the required doses. The Chairman Council of Tribal Heads in the Western Area, Chief Becky, spoke about the relationship between the tribal heads and the Health Ministry and assured them that they will make sure that beneficiaries adhere to the process. EPI Program Manager Dr. Dennis Mark assured that the vaccine is safe and will boost the routine immunization and has no serious adverse effects reported following the vaccination with the injectable polio vaccine. SLBC News Joseph Stanley reporting.
The Executive Director Campaign for Good Governance, Valnora Edwin, has called on political parties to create space for female aspirants by voting for them during the March 7th elections. She made this call during a training session organized by Campaign for Good Governance for female councillors across the country on confidence building. Doreen Barry reports.
Ahead of the March 7th polls, female councillors across the country are being schooled on interview techniques,
on the importance of the positions they are vying for.
Very, very important to us because we get new ideas when our plans get, and very important to make up for build up with zeal for with the campaign and the way and manner for go for the campaign and training better thing for that. And we feel fine and villains.
One of the things like so forgetting campaign message, the slogan, I don't learn but strategies, then campaign strategies, then some leadership roles, leadership qualities, all the have in them. They not they forget what them but like today, so they don't remind me again but them.
They don't show me what they go to my area for work. Campaign people there, how they attack them, for talk to them. So that side alone, I'm glad about that area.
Well, the train is no problem. The train is fine, around but in there. There's no violence, how for campaign strategy, how for set up a campaign team.
The session serves as an eye-opener for female aspirants to begin to eye senior positions within their party structures than limiting themselves to the women's wing or cheerleaders. The executive director of Campaign for Good Governance, Valnora Edwin, said that their aim is to have more female aspirants being elected into office during the March 7th polls. She spoke of the need to provide more space for female aspirants within the political structures to effect change. She said that Campaign for Good Governance is advocating for female aspirants through training and experience sharing on how to overcome challenges within the political climate and also how to engage the media.
Well, we had developed a manual which we reviewed to meet the current context, especially since we realized very few women had been awarded symbols. And there are various components there. So we are looking at their understanding about the democratic process, the local government or decentralization context, the issues around women's empowerment, and then more practical issues around campaigning, campaign financing, engaging the media, public speaking, networking, sourcing funds to engage interactions with their political parties. We've also engaged them on their understanding of the content of their party political manifestos, depending on if their parties have political manifestos.
She called on all female aspirants to have self-esteem and not to be intimidated by male aspirants. She called on the women to start vying for decision-making positions within their party's hierarchy.
Well, Campaign for Good Governance, with support of our partners Torcare, we've gone to Putloko, Cambia and Makeni to do a capacity building training for women who have been awarded symbols and are contesting to be councillors. And that's a build-up to our previous engagements where we've been working with women in these same localities in terms of advocacy, lobbying, and being able to be at the forefront of policy and decision-making within their locality.
The female councillors frowned at limited positions available to them within their political parties, as they are most times not involved when their parties are taking decisions. They outlined sexual harassment as one of the barriers affecting some women to be awarded symbols. They appealed to Campaign for Good Governance to help them overcome the challenges affecting their political career.
Campaign spokesperson for the National Grand Coalition, Dr. Julius Spencer, has told journalists of alleged intimidation they have been facing from other political parties in the northern region and the western area. He made a statement during a press conference held at Sludge head office on Campbell Street. Aikla Haibangwa reports.
These press officials drawn from different media houses were briefed on the numerous challenges and intimidation faced by the National Grand Coalition. Addressing journalists, the campaign spokesperson for the National Grand Coalition, Dr. Julius Spencer, said that their members have been facing intimidation by other party supporters. He made mention of the northern province and western area as areas of concern. Dr. Julius Spencer explained more about the challenges and intimidation faced by his supporters.
We have called this press briefing to brief the press about the challenges we are facing in the area of intimidation of our members. We find that particularly in the north and in the western area. Our members are being harassed. They are being arrested by APC operatives and taken to the police stations and detained. We have had several such cases. And basically they are alleging that our members are collecting people's voter ID card, which is not true. They're on an exercise to identify polling agents. And they cannot identify a polling agent accurately without knowing the person's center where the person registered. So obviously they need to have the center number.
He therefore called on the authority to come to their aid. He pledged their commitment as a party to continue to follow the rule of law and called on his party supporters to be patient and that they should not take the law into their hands.
The spokesperson of the National Grand Coalition, Dr. Julius Spencer, ended that report by Eric Lahibangwa. Well, let's now move to the entertainment desk. Rain Bollywood actress and leading lady in the Indian movie business in the 80s and 90s, Shri Ove has died at the age of 54. For more on the story, let's join Mohammed Kemil and Bangura.
The Indian actress known as Shri Devi has died at the age of 54. The actress was described as the first female superstar in India's male-dominated film industry. She was well known for her comic timing and her dancing skills. Shri Devi began acting as a child in regional cinema in India's south and made her debut in Hindi-language Bollywood films in the late 70s. Other famous roles include Mr. India, in which she played a reporter, and Lambe or Moments, a 1991 film in which she played dual roles of a mother and teenage daughter. She shared the screen with some of India's most iconic leading men, from Amitabh Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan and Amir Kapoor, brother-in-law who became popular in the West for his role in Slumdog Millionaire. Shri Devi stopped acting for several years after her marriage to film producer Bonnie Kapoor, but made a well-received comeback in 2012 with English Vinglish, a movie about a middle-aged woman learning English to fit in better with her family.
This marriage is a beautiful thing.
Her last performance was the 2017 film Mom, where she played a woman seeking revenge after her stepdaughter was raped. She died of cardiac arrest on Saturday the 24th of February 2018 in Dubai, as she had been there to attend a wedding. She is survived by her husband and 2 daughters.
Scare me, baby. The music industry in Sierra Leone is now taking a different level in a positive dimension. A lot of music makers and promoters had contributed in the growth, including the Kabaka Multimedia Entertainment, KME, managed by Abubakar Toure, popularly known as Kabaka. Recently, it traveled to Ghana in connection to improve the music industry, where he met with Ghana's popular entertainment guru and broadcaster, Bolare. Bolare is one of the top organizers for the Ghana Meets Niger Musical Festival that is organized annually both in Ghana and Nigeria. According to Kabaka, he has been given the franchise to host such festival here in Sierra Leone.
Have been, reaching out. So
I got a call from one of my contacts in Ghana, who actually told me that someone who's in charge of their entertainment would not have a problem meeting with me. So we exchanged contacts, myself and Bolare, who happens to own chain of radio stations and TV stations, and I called him up and he was very receptive. We spoke. Basically, there are a few things that were established and I was invited over to Ghana, and we spoke a lot of things on the business side. It just so happens that he's also one of the big chief organizers of Ghana Meets Niger. I can tell Sierra Leoneans that we're able to get the franchise, that KME is now a partner of the Ghana Meets Niger program, and the best part of the news is that this year we'll start the maiden program. We'll play host to Ghana Meets Niger here, so it will be basically Ghana and Niger meeting Sierra Leone in Freetown this year.
Kabaka said that Ghana Meets Niger starts in May in Ghana and in October in Nigeria, and Sierra Leone will be host to the festival in November. He said this is a great opportunity for our Sierra Leonean artists to be able to perform alongside our West African grade A musicians.
It is a platform that's undeniably the biggest ever. So now look at it this way. These people will be able to bring at least 5 or 6 Ghanaian stars here. The Shatawales, the Sarkodiers, you name them. They will be coming here. And at the same time, the big stars in Nigeria as well, including their comedians. So let's imagine having like 10 or 15 superstars coming into Sierra Leone at one go.
Kabaka said Sierra Leonean musicians going international is not the effort of one person, but a collective effort, and he wants the world to know that there are talented musicians in the country. He said that the KME artists had been invited to perform in this year's Ghana Meets Niger in May, and this festival will be in Accra, Ghana.
In May, when they will be organizing the program in Accra, the entire KME team has been invited to go to Accra. We'll be performing there for the very first time. It has never happened. For the very first time, I believe that will be like the biggest stage outside Sierra Leone. There will be announced officially as partners, and the date for the hosting of the event here in Sierra Leone will be announced also.
With the entertainment news, round up news are tonight, and now turning news the main points again. President Anis Pai Kroma has concluded his farewell tour to different parts of the country. The presidential and vice presidential candidates of the SLPP have continued their campaign in the south, east and northern regions. A 2-day regional workshop on cross-border trade and gender issues has started at Stimani River Union Secretariat in Freetown, and Turkish Airlines has begun their operations in the country. That's all in the news tonight. On behalf of the news editor Alpha Amaduba, I'm Sam Mataba. Thank you so much for watching and good night.